I actually feel like a superhero. This is such a thrill.
I'm about to show you the top 14 real superhero abilities. Things straight out of a movie that you will actually be able to acquire this decade thanks to technology. We're gonna have so much fun with this, and we're gonna keep powering up as we go. So, at number 14, we have a company called Mojo Vision, who's developed a display technology that allows us to experience augmented reality just like Iron Man does. So, you know how right now, to use augmented reality, we need some sort of screen, right? Whether that's using your smartphone, like people did with Pokemon Go, or a headset, which puts the display right in front of your face. But Mojo Vision has created the next, and arguably final level of this, a contact lens that puts a display directly onto our pupils. Because this thing is sitting so close to our eyes, it can get away with using a micro LED screen the size of a grain of sand. And so the result is that it draws practically zero energy, and can therefore be powered by minuscule batteries that also fit within the outer ring of the contact lens itself. 3 out of 10 on the superpower scale. Okay, echolocation is a phenomenon that we've observed for years in the natural world, where animals, such as bats, they emit sound waves into the environment, and then listening to the echoes that return as those sound waves bounce off various objects can determine where things are. Humans can do this too, in a very approximate sense, by snapping our fingers or tapping a cane on the floor. But now a startup in Kazakhstan called Sezwal has developed true echolocation for human beings, with the potential to make us all batty. They've developed a specialized speaker system that you basically wear around your neck. It emits continuous high-pulse clicks that bounce off surrounding objects and arrive back at it. And then it uses this to quantify their distance, their shape, and even their material. And the best part about the whole thing is that because this is using sound, it works just as well at night as it does during the day. But one scenario where sound completely falls apart is when you're in a noisy environment. Like a hurricane! Introducing the molar microphone, which instead of sitting in front of your mouth, actually sits inside your mouth. And so even in the most extreme weather conditions, allows you to talk and be heard clearly. That's not even the best bit. Because it also lets you hear the other person. When they speak, instead of their sound coming into your ear via a headset or an earpiece or an AirPod, this mic allows you to receive that same type of auditory information, instead using a new auditory pathway through your tooth, through your cranial bones, directly to your auditory nerve. Which means that you can discreetly cheat your exams. I mean, coordinate rescue missions. We're talking encrypted wireless communication, clear enough to whisper in a hurricane. That's a 4 out of 10 superpower right there. You know, I can't help but feel like in these superhero movies, it's never the heroes who get the best tech. It's always the villains. Just like Green Goblin with his Goblin glider. And I almost can't believe I'm saying this, we've managed to make one of those too, with the Omni hoverboard. An octocopter that looks like pure sci-fi, but is actually a really simple device. A carbon fiber frame, 8 underslung rotors, a pair of snowboarding boots, and a hand throttle, which is actually just a modified pair of pliers that you use to control your height. Plus, unlike petrol-based jet suits, it is a fraction of the price and runs on pure electricity, so it's quiet and clean. 5 out of 10. It's nothing like an eco-conscious villain. And somehow, you can now, according to the Omni Hoverboard website, actually order one upon request. Although, given that drones are already such a big privacy debate, I can't imagine that a flying platform with an actual person on top whizzing around your neighborhood is going to go down so well. Now, we all love the idea of being strong. I mean, there's a reason that gym memberships are growing by 10% a year in most countries. Well, how would you feel if, just like the Hulk, you could double your muscle mass without ever setting foot in a gym? Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. And it's actually achievable thanks to CRISPR-Cas9, a gene editing tool that allows scientists to cut and paste segments of DNA more precisely than ever before. It turns out we all have a protein in our bodies called myostatin that basically tells your muscles to stop growing when it thinks you have enough. Remember, more muscle isn't always a good thing. But let's just say that your entire objective in life was to become a living pork chop. Then just for you, scientists have figured out how to use CRISPR to be able to knock out this myostatin protein. Which means that your muscles will no longer be kept in check. They've tried this already on dogs, mice, cows, fish, and no joke, I've never in my life seen animals this jacked. I swear, even this mouse could probably take me. So it's seeming pretty inevitable that this will also work on humans too. But what if there was an even faster way? What if, just like War Machine, you could actually slip on an exosuit that will instantly give you the strength of not 2, but 20 humans? I'm not making this stuff up. The Sarkos Guardian Exo is a very real, next-generation, full-body robotic exoskeleton that can detect where you're planning to move your limbs and then redirect its power into whatever thing you're pushing, pulling, or lifting. This thing is insane! You could lift your entire collection of appliances, your refrigerator, your washing machine, all while maintaining perfect ergonomic posture. It prevents you from falling over, and just like our superhero buddies, you can mount and unmount the suit in 30 seconds flat. I want to say 6 out of 10. So, we've had wind, we've had earth. The one element that we've not yet touched is fire. And the Pyro Mini is a real gadget that you can actually buy that grants you this power. They split this instruction video into 15 parts. Are you taking a mick?
You know how you've been very badly in the past, where, you know, my skin's literally been hanging off my hand.
Why is this so emotional? I'm trying to shoot fire from my wrist.
And that is a good size load. There.
So, welcome to our state-of-the-art testing facility. So I've nicked a toy from Milo as our test dummy. Sorry. Okay, so what this does is straps onto your wrist and then uses flash paper, which is a type of tissue that's treated with nitric acid to burn very quickly to allow you to shoot flames from it. So the second that I trigger this, it's going to fire out tiny fragments of this flash paper and then set them on fire as they're leaving the barrel, which in theory should carry that fireball outwards. Hey, how's it going? Oh. This was originally intended for magicians as like a finishing flourish to their magic tricks, but who hasn't dreamt of this? All right, here goes nothing. I can't believe this. I actually feel like a superhero. Oh! Okay, I missed. But that's the beauty of this thing. It's double-barreled, which means that I can just take a step forward, come right up to its face, and try again. Oh! Oh! 2 full loads right in the face. I'm so sorry. I love you, really. That is a 6 out of 10.
Who is the most iconic superhero though? It's got to be Superman, right? Well, we're halfway to becoming.
Oh! 2 full loads right in the face. I'm so sorry. I love you, really. That is a 6 out of 10.
Who is the most iconic superhero though? It's got to be Superman, right? Well, we're halfway to becoming him too. One of Superman's key pillars is his ability to stop bullets in their tracks. And now, thanks to a breakthrough new material, us and the Immortals have that too. And let's be very clear, I'm not talking about big, bulky, bulletproof vests. Thanks to the power of graphene, which is effectively a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a perfectly formed lattice, you're going to be able to stop bullets with a material that's not just practically invincible, but also invisible. See, when mechanical pressure is applied to graphene, because of its insane physical structure, which has a ludicrous surface area to volume ratio, it can distribute that pressure incredibly quickly. The whole reason that bullets are so deadly is that they concentrate momentum into a very small area. But by spreading that out, it allows your body to absorb the impact. And the most insane part of this is that this bulletproofing can be achieved with just 2 layers of stacked graphene. So, just for perspective, this t-shirt I'm wearing is about 250,000 atoms thick. This bulletproof layer will only add 2 atoms to that figure. 7 out of 10. You really get the feeling that when Superman was being designed, the creators just kind of thought of every single thing that would make a person super and handed it to him. The guy even has X-ray vision, which at the time was not at all technologically viable. You notice I said at the time. See, the reason that we've been unable to see through walls so far is that walls are opaque. They block visible light, but they don't block is radio waves. Radio waves emitted from our microwaves, our light bulbs, our smartphones, they travel through walls. And so there is a team of researchers at MIT who've created a system called RF codes that allows them to pick up the disturbances in radio waves caused by someone on the other side of the wall. It's incredible! You can see in real time a person walking behind a wall, and this AI-based system using its understanding of the kinds of disturbances that a human would make to radio waves to be able to carry on tracking them, even though, as far as your eyes are concerned, they are gone. And this is useful useful for so many things. You could put it in everything from an old people's home to keep an eye on residents and to make sure they don't fall over, to rescue missions involving finding people buried underground. Okay, we've talked a fair bit about Superman, but even with all of his frankly ridiculous powers, the most popular superhero now is in fact your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. With his ability to climb buildings, we finally figured out how he does it. But the answer doesn't lie in spiders, like we've been led to believe, but in fact, Goblins, who are still able to scale walls and hang upside down, even though they're much heavier creatures. And the key to their success lies in their toe pads, which are covered in tiny hair-like structures called setae, which create an adhesive force as they come in contact with the surface. So, the company Draper has used this exact mechanism to develop a material called microvolt, which is the key component of their Z-Man climbing system. I feel like we should just reiterate how much of a big deal this is. This system allows you to, without a ladder or a rope or any kind of harness, climb completely vertical glass, metal, or brick. That's an aid. Spandex outfit not included.
Okay, let's shift gears for a minute to medicine, where one of the key focuses in recent years has become diagnosis. How do we find out if something's wrong before it becomes a problem? The answer, according to many at least, is nanobots. Incredibly small robots, about the size of a cell, that can be released into your bloodstream, travel around your body to your various organs, and assess your health from the inside. Current nanobots are pretty basic. Scientists have just figured out how to make them move off their own accord. But in the future, they could sample blood from all your different organs, they could take temperature readings, they could tell you that you caught a bug days before your symptoms kick in, and even detect cancers right before they start to spread, and dissect them from the inside, effectively giving you the power of regeneration. And the coolest part is that being connected devices, the next time you need to go into the doctor's office to have your bloods taken, let's say when you're feeling rough, your doctor will instead just be able to see your stats in real time over the internet.
If you're more of a Bruce Banner, whose key strength is not insane muscles or his ability to prevent a blood clot, it's his mind, then you'll be pleased to know that Hum is a wearable head wrap that can make you smarter in 5 seconds. So, part of the function of our brains is something called our working memory. This is where we store all of our temporary information, like numbers, names, shopping lists, and this kind of memory relies on what's known as theta waves. Theta waves are what coordinate the various different parts of the brain to allow this working memory to be possible. Think of them like the conductors in an orchestra, keeping everything in harmony. And so what this wearable does is gently boost the power of theta waves. The company is suggesting that if you're stuck with a maths problem or an exam, putting Hum on for just 15 minutes will enable an almost superhuman level of brain activity. Even if this isn't the product to take over, you can be rest assured that brain augmentation is on its way. How do you top that then? Well, it's one thing to have a powerful mind, it's another thing entirely to have mind control. But this too is becoming possible thanks to the drone from Ultra Electronics. All you do is you place this band around your head, and just from that, what it's able to do is to pick up activity in your brain's visual cortex. So to put it another way, it will know not just what your pupils are looking at, but also what your brain is interpreting from that information. And so with this in mind, the company have also designed a computer program to go with it, which creates multiple zones on screen, each representing different commands for this drone. Because the headband knows what's being triggered in your visual cortex, it will know what zone you're thinking about, and so it can then map those thoughts into commands, which the drone then executes. That's just mind-blowing. 9 out of 10. It's tech like this which could turn normal soldiers sitting in trenches into super soldiers, capable of so much more. But speaking of soldiers, we've got to talk about explosions. When there is an explosion, let's say that a bomb was dropped on a city, it creates 2 problems for humans: fragments and shockwaves, created by the very sudden compression of air. We can stop these fragments with reinforced doors and body armor. The shockwaves are a problem, as they can go through it all. So, to protect troops in combat, the company Boeing has obtained a patent that effectively allows them to, just like Scarlet Witch, create a real force field. The plan would be to equip all high-priority targets, let's say a car carrying the president, with ultra-high-powered lasers that, when fired into each other, can create an actual plasma field, a small area with a completely different molecular composition to normal air, and thus can disrupt this shockwave that relies on the compression of this normal air to continue to propagate. Now, if you've ever wondered what a superhero would eat, I have a strong suspicion it would be Cure, this video's sponsor. This is not an exaggeration. Fuel is the only way that I manage to get everything that I want to do done whilst giving my body good nutrition. You just mix fuel powder with water in the provided shaker. Voila. You have what tastes like a thick milkshake, but what's actually a full meal made with coconut, peas, rice protein, flax seeds, and more just natural ingredients. And if you want to take it to the next level, you've got Black Edition. It takes normal fuel, but manages to cut the carbs by 50% while adding in 33% more protein. I've just actually started a workout plan like 4 weeks ago, and I'm using this Black Edition to get my protein intake up and to make sure that I'm getting the key vitamins and minerals too. So, hit the link in the description to give Fuel a shot.